Hello class, my name is Miguel Duenez and I am part of the group Californicus, and today we will be discussing hydroelectricity. One of the biggest things about hydroelectricity is that it is a form of renewable energy. But y'all may ask, what is hydroelectricity? Hydroelectricity is a process in which energy is created by water that is in motion. The picture in the background is a dam in Africa. We will discuss what kind of facility this is and how it works.
The History of Hydroelectric Power by Landon. The evolution of the modern hydropower turbine began in the mid-1700s based on the Greek idea that was created over 2,000 years ago using a wheel spun by water to crush their wheat. In 1880, a brush arc light dynamo driven by water turbine was the first to create an electric arc in our first known turbine generator. Over the next few years, multiple countries band together to create hydroelectric power sources that are still used today, such as the U.S. Army, the Department of Power, and another organization in Britain. History continued. Today, hydropower only accounts for 1% of Texas's electric power, and there are 23 dams in the state of Texas. Over the years, some dams have failed and there have been catastrophic failures due to trying to contain the full force of energy. Hydroelectric power has grown popular with common people due to the increase in knowledge and practice over the last 10 years, as well as the general knowledge and the alarm of global warming.
There are a total of 3 different types of hydropower facilities, one being impoundment. This is the one that is most commonly used. It consists of a large system in which a dam is used for river water storage in a reservoir. Water is released from the dam, causing a flow through a turbine in which it spins, causing a generator to produce electricity. The second type is diversion facility. Another word for this, or name, is run of water. A plant channels part of the river by using a penstock or a canal, and this type of facility does not require a dam. The last facility is pump storage type. This acts more like a battery style facility. It stores energy by pumping water that is uphill to a reservoir that is in a higher elevation from another reservoir that is at a lower elevation. Here are pictures of the 3 types in which we will talk furthermore about these in later slides.
So there are many benefits to hydroelectricity that should be known. Out of all the renewable resources, it is one of the cleanest renewable resources. The use of hydroelectricity reduces the amount of air pollution caused by many other resources. This preserves the ozone layer and maintains a healthy environment for all living beings. There is also an abundance of availability of hydropower methods. The availability of this resource is everywhere. Water is recycled and available in all parts of the world through the water cycle. With this unlimited resource, communities are able to grow over time without the need of receiving other resources from farther locations, which could have a larger carbon footprint. Of course, there's more benefits to hydropower. Hydropower provides recreation and flood control while sometimes providing a water source for communities. It is also cost competitive. Even though the building cost of hydropower systems can be expensive, hydropower facilities have low maintenance costs. One of the things that makes hydropower one of the best renewable resources is that a specific type of hydropower, diversion facilities, are great. Facilities, also called run-of-the-river systems, generate electricity without damming a river, reducing the chance of environmental damage. While hydroelectricity is great, there are also many complications that should be discussed next.
Complications with Hydroelectricity by Jaclyn. Hydroelectricity may have its benefits, but there are also complications with the use of it. One example would be damaging of the environment. By building dams, it may be beneficial to conceal the resource to produce electricity. However, it also damages the environment due to the lack of water flow. This affects the plant growth, and aquatic life that rely on this resource in order to survive. Another one would be a possible cause of droughts. Dry spells and a lack of replenishment could lead to these droughts. Hydroelectricity relies on the availability of water and precipitation. Without this resource, the people won't be able to obtain electricity and would have to seek in the use of another resource. Another complication would be dam failure. Dams don't last, and the material could wear out over time through erosion and other natural causes. If the structures were to suddenly break down, the lower elevated communities could be flooded, thus leading to damage to homes and possible deaths. For example, to the right, there's a photo of the dam failure in Iowa of Lake Delhi. On July 24, 2010, the dam had failed, thus water flowing down to the lower communities, destroying mostly everything in its path. Luckily, all the people evacuated, but the cost of damage costed them over $1 million. Methane and CO2 emissions can be released into the atmosphere. Even though hydroelectric power is one of the cleanest renewable resources available, it can release damaging gases from the various decomposed plants in the dam reservoirs. From this, people living nearby dams would end up having to evacuate their homes and find a more safer place in order to survive. Lastly, it's costly from the start. Building of hydroelectric power plants and dams don't come cheap. It costs a good penny in order to construct these facilities to be fitted in desired locations chosen. It takes about 4 to 7 years in order to build a dam, which would accumulate at a high cost of construction. For the longest dam ever recorded and taken to build would be the Itaipu Dam, which took 18 years to build at a cost of $20 billion. As for the most expensive dam constructed would be the Grand Inga Dam of the Dominican Republic, as seen on the left picture. It may have taken less time to build compared to the Itaipu Dam, but it did cost the people over $80 billion to build.
Hello, my name is Alan Marquez-Torres, and I am going to cover the conclusion of our presentation. All in all, hydroelectricity has had its run in the history books. With research being started in the mid-1700s, by 1880, the first water-powered dynamo engine was already invented. Lastly, due to the increase in climate change effects on our planet in the past decade, more knowledge and research has been done on hydroelectricity than ever before. In our presentation, we focus on the three main types of hydroelectricity power plants, the first being the impoundment type. The impoundment type is the most popular of the three types of facilities, and in the impoundment type, a dam is built to create a water reservoir from a river. From the reservoir, water is pumped into a turbine to generate electricity. Secondly, we cover the diversion type. In the diversion type is where a plant channels a river with a pep stalk to generate electricity instead of building a dam. Lastly, we covered the pump storage type, in where water is moved from a reservoir of high elevation to a reservoir of lower elevation. This was also known as the battery style facility. Lastly, we covered the pros and cons of hydroelectricity. We covered some of the benefits, being that using water as a high energy source is that water is not only in abundance, but it is also a green source of energy. Another benefit was that with building dams, we also create areas of recreation for the public. However, some conflicts that were covered was that with the building of dams, they are not very environmentally friendly due to the permanent change that they have on the landscape. Also, dams are not super reliable. They could fail at any moment, and if they were to fail and not hold the water that they're holding, they could cause catastrophic damage to properties. Lastly, in the reservoir, there is high amounts of plant and algae buildup that release greenhouse gases to the atmosphere and contribute to global warming.